This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw and Associates. For over 69 years, Shaw and Associates has been your trusted local experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. Thank you for voting this Yuba Sutter's best in multiple categories, including financial advisor and wealth management firm for more than 7 years. At Shaw and Associates, we change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. You can find out more information at shawassociatesinc.com or by calling 530-674-1150. Shaw and Associates is proud to support community radio.
And in this conversation, I've been told I have the right to remain silent, but I'm not going to exercise that right. In the studio, I want to welcome a brand new CHP officer, Tyler Donaldson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. You want to see my proof of education or insurance and all that? Also, Sam Lima, brand new CHP officer.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you. And Pete Sutherland, the canine handler. What's the name of your dog?
My dog's Diego, sir.
Diego. Okay, cool. And, it's just amazing. We're going to talk. Let's get to know first these new officers. Tyler, tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
So I was born and raised in Sutter County.
Really?
Graduated Yuba City High School.
What year?
So 2016.
Okay.
I was a honker.
All right on. I bet you played football.
I did. Played high school all 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I got into the Explorer program, which is basically a good stepping stone.
That is you're the first Explorer to transition into the CHP. What is the Explorer program?
So the Explorer program is something before you can actually apply to the academy. It's something that get you ready for the academy. So a good backstone, you learn the codes, you just train, you practice, you get all that good knowledge.
And it gave you a kind of a heads up before you went to the academy, right?
Good preparation.
Okay. Sort of like a scouting program, if you will.
Yep, for sure.
So you had all that memorized before you get. I wish somebody would have done that before I went to boot camp. That would have been cool. And you grew up here. You love this area, and that how nice is that you get stationed where you grew up? Is that something the CHP is kind of trying to do more?
So I actually got back here within a year and a half. So out of the academy, I got sent to Oakland. Oakland.
They send you guys into the fire, don't they?
It was fun. A lot of training, good experience. So,
really?
Yeah, definitely.
Gosh, I can just picture, just the stress involved in that. So you did that, learned a lot, probably learned a lot about how to de-escalate things.
Yes, definitely. De-escalation is key in all police work. So.
And calm. Are you calmer now than before you went in?
Yes, definitely. More relaxed, for sure.
I could definitely see that. And Sam, tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm locally, actually. I grew up in Yuba County since I was 5 years old. I'll be 37 in May. So it's been a while.
He doesn't look 21, I bet, man.
Thanks.
So you tell me, what'd you do? Where'd you go to school?
Well, local boy, so I started at Oliver's Elementary, Yuba Gardens. I actually went to Wheatland High School, graduated in 2005.
Okay.
Yuba College in Sac State.
What's your degree in?
Criminal justice, naturally.
Yeah. And speaking of Wheatland, they have got a pretty good football program. Did you?
Yeah, my son actually just played for the 10U team, and he 12U actually. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can't keep track.
I've got an 8-under grandchild that's playing football too. It's kind of cool to see them get out there and you're like toughen up a little bit.
Right? No, he did great. He was a starting center. They just won the championship, so we're excited for him. Very proud of him.
Wonderful. And what motivated you to become a CHP officer? I mean, obviously you kept your options open with a criminal justice degree.
Right. I'm actually a paramedic by trade. I did EMS for about 8 years, 9 including my flight time as a paramedic. And then the CHP has a robust air ops program with a paramedic on board helicopters and do search and rescue. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. And the CHP offered me the opportunity. So when the academy opened up, and I said, yes, let's go. Let's do this.
Well, in search and rescue, they're always looking for somebody. Sorry, that was a bad one. Let's talk with Pete Sutherland, canine handler. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. What's the name of your dog again?
Diego, sir.
Diego, okay. And I'm amazed at all the training that goes into a canine officer. You have to do What? Every week, you said?
Yes, sir. Just right out of the gate during the academy, it's 400 hours just right off the gate. 200 hours for patrol work, which is apprehension. 200 hours in odor work, which is either going to be narcotics or explosives. And then
And they have to constantly upgrade that, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Constantly train. Continue on.
Training is ongoing. In addition to that, 400 hours is an additional 40 that you have to do where you're just kind of studying policy, case law, getting to know your canine, your dog. And then after that, it's every week you have to spend at least 8 hours, 4 hours per discipline training your dog. And so it's an ongoing, constant evolution of keeping on top of things and keeping on top of the training with your dog.
How is he rewarded? Is it one of the Kong things?
It is a ball, but once you build that bond with your dog, that bond becomes so strong and so tight that sometimes just me and my interaction with my dog outweighs the value of that ball, which is great because sometimes you're in a situation where I don't have access to a ball to reward my dog for some sort of good behavior.
Yeah.
So just the praise that I can give him either through voice inflection or just by touching him, sometimes outweighs the value of that ball itself.
I've seen some amazing things of dogs in war zones. Is it kind of some of the similar training? Explosive devices that are smelling and things like that?
It is. We try to keep up with trains. My first 2 dogs that I had were explosive detection canines, and we kind of try to keep up on the trends we were seeing, especially from overseas and what some of the military guys were going through. We go through some of their classes to keep up to date with that. The only difference, I would say, the training is kind of the same initially to build out foundation, but then your deployment schedule is going to be way different. Like for an explosive dog that's overseas deployed in either Iraq or Afghanistan is going to have a different tempo and a different work schedule than, let's say, we would on the street where we have all these different tasks that we have to take care of. They have one primary task they're assigned to. So it's different, but the same.
Is it a Belgian Malinois?
I've had 3. This is my 3rd Belgian Malinois, and I just have to say it, one of the best dogs in the world.
I see them climb a building. It's just amazing.
It's
They go
incredible.
like 20, 30 feet in the air. They
Incredible.
can actually fly almost, can't they?
Yes, sir.
So that dog continues to impress you.
Yes, sir, every single day.
How old is he?
Diego's 9.5.
Is that the thing these days, is to have a Belgian Malinois? And why? I mean, because I know they used to have German Shepherds.
It seems right now with our purchasing that we do, as a matter of fact, we have a couple guys down south right now that are purchasing, I believe, 8 canines for upcoming canine class. It should be beginning of 2024. We're usually German Shepherd and Belgian Malinois, and I think right about now we're probably 60-40, 60% of our canine program, 50 some odd dogs is Belgian Malinois, and the other 40% is German Shepherds.
Do the German Shepherds make better trackers?
No, each dog is different, just like a person. Each dog in our unit has its own separate personality. And so one dog, not necessarily based on the breed, could be good at tracking, and then another dog is really good at odor. It just depends on the drive. And what I've seen working with the Belgian Malinois that I have is their drive, for me, is so much higher than the German Shepherds. They are 100%, 110% of the time with 0 time off. They are just go, 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 go constantly. Where a Shepherd would come into a room and a little bit more methodical than a Malinois would.
The Malinois are just brave, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
They're very trusting.
I don't think they know fear, honestly.
I see them jump out of helicopters with the seals,
Yes, sir.
into the water. You can't. How do you train for something like that?
I think it's just inside of them, sir. It's instinct.
Well, you train all the time. Let's talk. What is the most unique trick that your dog could do? Because I'm sure you light it up there.
Most unique trick, I don't think we concentrate really. We don't do a lot of training on tricks.
No, but I bet you do.
One of the best things, I'll tell you a quick story. One of the best things that I ever had. We do a lot of apprehensions for bad guys.
Yeah.
We also do handler protection. If somebody tries to attack me or another officer, the dog plays a role in that. And usually the role of the dog is just by de-escalation. Just the dog's presence alone will usually tend to de-escalate a situation. But I had one, and it's not normally happens. It was in San Joaquin County, and our dogs are also trained to go out and find at-risk or missing persons.
Yeah.
They are trained to bite, so we take precautions when we do that. But we got a call late at night. It was in the January, February timeframe, northern San Joaquin County. 2 kids had run away from home. They've done it quite often. They disappeared into the forest. And this was an area where there was no residential around. These kids were gone. They were gone. So we took a drone out there. Another allied agency launched their drone to try to find them. Couldn't find them. I brought Diego out, put him on a long line to make sure he didn't get in contact with them, but he's able to track and be able to smell where these kids might be. And after about an hour and a half, we located both the boys. It was incredible, especially talking to fire after the fact that they said about 30 to 45 more minutes, they'd have been suffering from hypothermia. So just to know that that dog played a role in those kids' lives and possibly saved it was incredible.
But it's not just the dog; it's you. It's the interaction between the handler and, because you're bringing your expertise. You're kind of like the brain of the situation, and he's the hands-on.
I'd like to think that, sir, but as smart as they are, sometimes I think that I'm just holding the leash. I mean, they're very, very smart.
Okay, you've done this a while then?
Yes, sir. This is I'm going on year 15 as a canine handler.
What do you personally get out of it?
Just the enjoyment, what we can bring as far as helping the public, and like I said, finding those two boys who knows what would have happened if we wouldn't have had a canine program. The value to the community, it's a force multiplier, and I've read in certain occasions that one dog can do the same work, or not exactly the same work, but is equal to in a search pattern of 5 different officers. So just the value they bring to the department, the interaction with the public, and the safety and service they can provide is incredible.
How concerned are you about them sniffing out fentanyl? Because that seems to be we're talking about these days. And because, I mean, do you carry Narcan for the dog?
Yes, sir. It's a thing that popped up on our radar a couple years ago, and it doesn't seem to be a downtrend. It seems to be more of an uptrend now. Okay. So we do take a lot of precautions, a lot of protective equipment that we wear, a lot of stuff we do with the dog to protect them. And in case something does happen, I carry Narcan on me, and there's also some in the patrol car for the dog. And each canine handler, we make sure we know where each other's is. So if everybody wears it in the left breast pocket, and then inside the car for the dog, it's the glove box, we know exactly where it is. In case something happens, we go right where to go to get it.
Okay. You say you wear a lot of protective equipment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you could lift up what you're drinking, I just want to show this if I could, because this is how much you have to replace your fluids on a typical day. You drink that every single day because of the equipment you wear. You're sweating all the time and getting, man, that's got to be a tough job.
It's a workout every day, sir.
Is it rewarding? Is it rewarding to you?
It's very rewarding. It's rewarding during the day, but sometimes you're so nonstop, you don't get a chance to take into account everything you did during the day. And it's usually when I go home to my wife, who is a huge support factor. And I definitely like to thank her for everything she's done. But once you get home and you get to tell those stories and you kind of take a step back from the situation, that's when it all starts to sink in and you really get to see the difference that you made.
Does Diego get to sleep on the bed?
No, he does not.
Okay, that's good. Let's talk about how somebody becomes a canine handler, because these 2 new officers from this area would make great canine officers. You guys love dogs, don't you?
100%.
You love to catch crooks, don't you?
Yeah, that's even better.
You like to save kids in the forest, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
How do they go about it?
Initially, just getting on the department is going to be the first hurdle, which obviously they both have done. After that, it's just going out there every single day and going above and beyond. And you're just building your resume. You're building the bond within your area office. Your name is getting out there saying, you're not just average Joe. You're not just average policeman out there doing it. You're going above and beyond. You're taking that extra step with the public. You're taking that extra step to find the narcotics. You're taking the extra step just to help somebody out. And once that resume, you start building that resume up, and then you come out to canine training, and you really get to see interacting with the dogs. It's like, you see it on paper, you see it on videos, but until you're in, let's say, that bite suit, and you're in there and watching a dog firsthand sniff a car and find that small amount of narcotics that's in there, it really opens your eyes.
Do you get hazard pay for this? I mean, extra pay as an officer. You should.
No, sir.
No?
I think the payment we get is just how we feel inside.
You are base pay is everybody else.
Yes, sir.
But you get to interact with dogs.
Yes, sir.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Tell me, what is the most interesting apprehension you've had, without sounding names or anything like that? I know you have restrictions, but what is the coolest thing that dog has ever done, or any dog that you've had handling? Did you track some crook down hiding under a swimming pool or something? I don't know.
There's a lot of stories. It's hard for me to. I mean, as soon as you said that, I had 10 hit me right off. One I'll bring up. It was for my canine that has passed away. It was my first dog. I got her in 2009.
You'll see her again on the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes, hopefully. I know she's probably there waiting. What a great dog. I was so fortunate to have that dog as my first dog. I learned from her. She learned from me. She ended up getting an award after she retired to having the best canine capture of the year for the Western States Police Canine Association, which is great. So the story is,
wow.
Our undercover guy set up on a house. There's a wanted person inside the house. The front door opens. Undercover guys kind of see him. That person goes back inside the house, and that's our main subject.
Yeah.
Another guy comes out, not the same person, gets on a motorcycle and leaves. So now our undercover guys, our surveillance guys, know that this wanted suspect is inside this house. They knock on the door, don't get a response. They had a search warrant for it, make entry. Long story short, they searched the house and cannot find the subject. So nobody knows where he went. He didn't leave the house, so
Attic?
could be. So they're searching everything, attic, everywhere in the house. Can't find him. So they're like, hey, Pete, can you bring in your dog? I'm like, yeah, bring in my dog. So I go in and I look at the house and make sure the house is safe. And as we continue to search, we go into the living room area, and there's a floor rug with a dining room table and 6 chairs around it. And my dog goes to the rug, sniffs the rug, and starts doing what I call a distinct change of behavior. That just tells me that something just entered my dog's nose that was different from everything else around it. It drew her attention. Sometimes that can be from another dog. It could be from a cat. Who knows? Sometimes it's a suspect. But this is now a floor level that we're looking at. It's a piece of carpet.
Yeah.
Take my dog off, send her back again. She starts doing the same thing. Distinct change of behavior on this carpet. It was amazing. Thinking, okay, is she messing with me or is this real? So I pull her back. I tell the guys to come over. They come over. They lift the rug, and just barely on the wood floor and the seams in the wood, you could see a very distinct line that was cut out.
Somebody had a hidey hole, huh?
Somebody had built a trap door. So once they found that trap door, moved the table off, moved the chairs off, opened up the trap door, and we looked down. And I don't know if you're familiar with what we call ship stairs, those stairs that are really...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like here at the radio station.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The angle on them is crazy.
Yeah.
And it was pitch black down there. We couldn't see a thing. So we tried to light it up with flashlights, can't see anything. I make a couple of canine announcements once to get the guy to give up, obviously. Gave him plenty of opportunity to do it, got no response. And for officer safety, it's much better for us to send the dog down there to find this person than for one of us to go down there, unknown what's happening. So I hooked my dog up on the harness, lowered her down there. She got about halfway down the stairs, and her whole body and her whole mannerisms started changing. And I knew that she saw something. And gave the guy another opportunity to give up. Didn't. As soon as she hit the ground, she went over, apprehended him. He made himself known and gave up immediately.
When you say apprehended him, where'd she bite him?
It was in the arm, sir.
Okay. Well, that's actually what they train for, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In the arm. Okay, wonderful. And they usually give up when the dog is involved, don't they?
Yes, sir. Immediately upon apprehension, he gave up. I had the dog off verbal command, released from the apprehension. The dog recalled up to me, up those steep stairs, and the subject came up, and other than the minor injury he sustained, everybody went home safe.
Speaking of which, I'd like to bring these two officers into this conversation by asking them, what can we do to reverse these fatalities on our roads we've been having lately? We've had the head-on up on Marysville Road. We had the guy off the road in Berry Road in Yuba City. Do you all respond to those things?
Oh, we do, depending on what our area or beat responsibility is.
What would you like to say to drivers?
Just 3 easy things off the bat. Number 1, don't drink and drive. Not saying those were involved in those situations, but it's pretty common with
drink or drugs,
accidents,
things like that. I know.
Don't drive under the influence. Slow down.
You can hit a kid.
Slow down, and don't be distracted. Cell phones are kind of
Cell
a
phones
problem.
are distracting?
And very distracting.
You can still give tickets for them?
Yes, 100%.
How do you spot it? I mean, because they're being sly. They're doing this.
Well, typically speaking, if I drive by and I see the head nod down and up, and you're looking down, and you're starting to actually weave in and out of your lane, like you potentially the influence, I'll make a stop because you're being unsafe. You're going into other people's lanes. And if I can't really prove that you're on a cell phone, I have a moving violation because of how bad you were driving.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, we can pull it up at a stoplight or intersection, and you have your cell phone just right up. You're on your phone, and that's obvious. Like, okay, your cell phone's in whatever hand, and we'll make a stop and take enforcement action.
I see it more on the freeways than anything else.
Oh, yes.
So the CHP, the highway patrol, I imagine you all see it more than anybody. And they're like, and of course they're like, where do y'all come from? What would you like to say there, Officer Donaldson, about or just address the plethora of accidents? Because I'm going to bring up the CHP website right now and just look. There's construction. That's a big thing y'all do. You assist with construction, right?
Oh, yes.
You basically, who draws the short stick on that? I mean, because you got to sit there for all day.
No, that's actually one of the good gigs. Like people got the guys like doing that.
The guys do like doing that?
They
What,
like
get
they're
paperwork
making
done?
sure, because those are also families that are working on the side of the road. So them being there is making sure those guys get home safe. So it's a big part of our job is to make sure everyone gets home safe. Just like
Thank you
said.
for pulling me in. Well, you just de-escalated this. That's some serious training right there, my friends. I'm impressed because that is one thing hard to do. Do you have to have that innate calmness to be an officer?
Yeah, I would say definitely. You need to be calm, because if you work yourself up and things happen, you got to be able to react. So,
Yeah. And I like the fact that y'all have resources available when you do respond to situations that you have to compartmentalize. I'm talking about children in accidents and things like that. I honestly don't know how you would deal with it, but thank goodness we have folks like you. I want to thank Officer Tyler Donaldson and Officer Sam Lima, brand new CHP officers. How long y'all been on the job?
we both been on, so we graduated in the same class,
Yeah.
and we both been on a year and a half.
Okay. But I thought you were only on the job here for like a couple of days.
We just transferred in.
You just transferred into the area. Okay, that's my mistake. Okay. But you're fully qualified and everything else. What do you like about this area versus Oakland Patrol, or you were Oakland?
He's Oakland.
Oakland, yeah. You were where?
And Marin.
Marin, okay.
Well, of course, it's home.
Home.
It feels nice driving by your house, the streets that you grew up on, basically.
What about when you pull over your guy you played football with?
I haven't done that yet.
It'll happen. It'll happen. But those, you just handle it like everybody else,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. It's a good sense of pride, though, being home. And this is basically where you grew up, so.
What do you do when somebody says, I'm friends with the commander?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I bet you guys get that. Hey, don't you know who I am? I'm a city councilman or something like that,
Yeah, but you were still speeding, so.
Yeah. I love that fact.
What does that have to do with your driving?
Well, gentlemen, and also Pete Sutherland, canine handler, and Diego, who's downstairs, probably wondering, where's Dad at?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. When he comes home, does he act like a typical dog, or does he know when he's off?
It's incredible. He is, during work, everybody laughs at me in the unit and the people I stop. He is 100% of the time in the back of that car. It's nonstop barking. It's window to window. The car shakes when I'm at stoplights and stop signs. It's actually comical sometimes. The minute we go home, I pull in the driveway, I get him out, and I walk him back to his kennel. You do not hear a word from him until the next morning when I put him back inside the car. He is absolutely, completely silent at work, at home, and completely all the way up at work.
Would you recommend somebody have a pet as a Belgian Malinois?
Unless you know what you're doing, absolutely not.
Because they're working dogs. They get bored, and they will chew a hole through the wall. Won't
Yes,
they?
sir. If you don't have that time and that dedication to burn some of that energy off, you're going to have curtains that are pulled off the walls, holes in your couch, carpet that's ripped up. I've seen Malinois bite through doors before.
So it's basically a 14-year-old teenage boy.
100%.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Before we go, sir, I do have the guys in my unit, when they heard I was coming up here, we thought about something we could give you just to show our appreciation for you having. So on behalf of our unit, which includes Officer Williams, Officer Laggy, Officer Froggatt, Officer Brazil, Officer Frazier, Officer Garcia, and Officer Heredia, and of course our fearless leader, Sergeant Powell, we brought you a CHP Valley Division Challenge coin that has all of our dogs on there, and it's from our unit to you, sir. So thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I do collect challenge coins. This is beautiful.
Military service, by the way you were talking, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
I had 8 years in the Marine Corps, so thank you for your service, sir.
Well, I was Navy, so we're kind of.
Thank you for the ride.
Exactly. You were in the men's department.
Yes, sir.
As they say. You know what Navy stands for? Never again volunteer yourself. And here I am at a volunteer radio station. I want to thank you. This means a lot to me. I got hair standing up here. Thank you,
sir.
gentlemen.
This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 69 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted local experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. Thank you for voting as Yuba Sutter's best in multiple